Welcome back to another episode of your podcast, Red&Gold All Niners. Hoping you're having a fantastic day. And in this episode, we will continue talking about Jimmy Garoppolo and his improvement. Now, this improvement, it is directed, connected to Brian Griese, the quarterback coach, or is because just Jimmy Garoppolo now is proving that he's a better quarterback. There's so many subjective topics in this matter, but we will try to make as much connection as possible to the fact that Brian Griese has something to do with the improvement of Jimmy Garoppolo. We will go through some points or traits that makes a quarterback a good quarterback. And we will start with accuracy. Now we've seen that Jimmy Garoppolo normally is a fair, accurate quarterback. I mean, we are talking about 60s, upper 60s%, but in the past 4 games, he's around the 80%, 84%. So, yes, we've seen a huge improvement in the accuracy of Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, is that to the fact that Brian Griese, the quarterback coach, has something to do with it? It might be. It might be. Yes, why not? Now, related to the accuracy of the quarterbacks, one of the most important parts it is the throwing motion. How the quarterback is throwing the ball. How are the mechanics correct so the quarterback can be more accurate? And that can we relate it directly to Brian Griese. It might be that Jimmy Garoppolo improved the mechanics and the throwing motion of the arm to become better and more accurate quarterback. We can say that Brian Griese has something to do with that. I don't think the quarterbacks or any other player they can train with other or third parties or outside of the facilities of the 49ers, mainly due to the concern of getting hurt outside the facilities. So I don't think that Jimmy Garoppolo is seeing another coach that is teaching him how to throw the ball better. So yes, accuracy, we can say that Brian Griese has been a factor on the development of Jimmy Garoppolo. There is another one, anticipation. Anticipation is you are throwing the ball before the receiver is on the place where he's supposed to catch the ball. And we know that Jimmy Garoppolo in the past, he was not a very good quarterback throwing in anticipation to the wide receivers. In not many plays, we've seen very clearly that Jimmy Garoppolo is already releasing the ball before the wide receiver or the running back or the tight end is making the break. Nonetheless, in recent times, we've seen more anticipation from Jimmy Garoppolo. Not only more anticipation, but anticipation, meantime, he's running and creating that play with his legs. So yes, there is another factor there. Is a factor that we can directly connect to Brian Griese? Absolutely, yes. But there's other factors too. That play that Kyle Shanahan is calling. But yes, we can say that this is a trait that many quarterbacks they prepare and they train with the quarterback coach. Absolutely, there is no doubt about it. Footwork, yes, huge improvement, and yes, directly connected to Brian Griese. We saw many times when Jimmy Garoppolo got under pressure, he started backpedaling, and at that moment we knew that the play was dead. Absolutely, there is no doubt about it. Now he's climbing the pocket. Now he's moving to avoid the pressure. He has better and cleaner footwork, and that it is absolutely directly connected to Brian Griese. Another point to Brian Griese. Pocket presence, another one, very important. And like I said before, Jimmy Garoppolo, something that rarely we saw in the past, climbing the pocket, making plays with the legs. The touchdown to George Kittle when he started climbing the pocket, throws the ball. Absolutely. That is part of the pocket presence and the footwork. The throw to Reverend McLeod a couple of games ago, going to running to the sideline, throwing the ball, absolutely. There's no doubt that Jimmy Garoppolo has better presence in the pocket right now than he had in the past. There's no question about it. Now, I attribute this factor to two main reasons. The first one, it is Jimmy Garoppolo has now more confidence, and that confidence probably is being built because he's been playing better. Number one. Number two, it is the type of plays that they're being called. That doesn't mean that this is not directly related to Brian Griese, otherwise. But there is other factors involved too. So yes, absolutely, we can say that Brian Griese has a say in the pocket presence of Jimmy Garoppolo. A decision maker. Wow, this is a big one because we've seen 0 interceptions from Jimmy Garoppolo in the past 4 games. Well, again, in this past game against the Saints, Lucky Jimmy, Lucky G, strike again. He was the interception was reversed by a holding penalty over this defensive back of the Saints, so it didn't count. But yet, we've seen so much of an improvement on the decision making of Jimmy Garoppolo. Is that directly connected to Brian Griese? In some part, yes. Okay, the quarterback coach is the one that is been training with the quarterbacks that show them what are the mistakes, what are the correct things to do, how to do it the next time. They go play through play and they analyze what they need to do to execute that play. So yeah, absolutely, there's no questions that is directly connected to Brian Griese. Mobility. So since Jimmy Garoppolo got injured against the Chiefs a couple of years ago in week 3 of that season, he lost most of his mobility with good reason. I mean, if you have that of a tough injury, well, it's going to limitate the mobility. We've seen how Jimmy Garoppolo has improved. Incredible match related to the mobility. And if we go through some of the points that we talked already, the footwork, the pocket presence, the anticipation of the throws, everything is being related that Jimmy Garoppolo has been more mobile these past games. So yeah, absolutely. Is that a trade or something that we can directly connect to Brian Griese? I'm not sure. That I do believe that is more a trade from a quarterback to identify the play, to start moving around in the pocket. That might be part of the pocket presence, but it's also related to the athleticism of the quarterback. So we can say yes, in some part, it might be that Brian Griese is teaching Jimmy Garoppolo how to be a better quarterback, how to be a more mobile quarterback, so to speak. So yeah, it might be yes. Quick throw, and we know that Jimmy Garoppolo has one of the quickest throws in or release in the NFL. But many of his passes, they were wobbly, or they didn't have the zip that you can find in an elite or a very good quarterback. Nonetheless, in the past games, we've seen that the balls that Jimmy Garoppolo is throwing, they have a different seam. They are a perfect spiral, especially when you have the right angle to see the ball and you can see the perfect spiral. Not only now he has one of the quickest releases in the NFL, but now it has a very beautiful ball. It is a perfect spiral. Is that directly connected to Brian Griese? There is no doubt about it. The mechanics, the release of the football, which angle, which grade the ball needs to be released, that is something that the quarterbacks and the quarterbacks coaches, they practice on daily basis. So yes, we can say that that is a major factor, and Brian Griese has a direct impact on the release of Jimmy Garoppolo. And if you have a good release, you have good mechanics at the moment of throwing the ball, then just everything starts clicking, like anticipation, accuracy, decision maker, the pocket presence, absolutely everything. We saw that the throw to Juwan Jennings in this last game for the touchdown. We saw that Jimmy Garoppolo went back to his old same, and the ball, it didn't have the zip, it didn't have the strength, it didn't have the anticipation. And I mean, it was not intercepted just because it was lucky Jimmy. But we saw that part, and hopefully that Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't come back. We want to continue seeing the Jimmy Garoppolo of the past 4 games, throwing the ball, be more accurate, throwing with anticipation, with better footwork, especially a better decision maker. And there's 2 more factors going through his progressions and recognizing the defense. And those 2 parts, absolutely, there is no doubt that Jimmy Garoppolo has improved. Not just to say he's now better. Now, we can say that he's really, really good on those 2 parts. Is that directly connected to Brian Griese? Absolutely. But also, it is directly connected to the plays that Kyle Shanahan is calling. So yeah, you have the factor of Brian Griese, but there's also other factors that they have an implication on those 2 points for Jimmy Garoppolo. At the end, we can say, yes, absolutely, in many factors, Brian Griese has an impact on Jimmy Garoppolo, and the improvement is real. Now, we know all the situation with Jimmy Garoppolo, what is going to happen at the end of this season, if they're going to bring back Jimmy Garoppolo or not. Well, we will see that. But the most important part and most encouraging part, it is that we know that now we have a very good quarterback coach that can teach Trey Lance to be a better quarterback. That is one of the most important parts. If Brian Griese can improve all these traits in Trey Lance, that is something that we need to see. That is something that I'm so excited to see on Trey Lance. Make it a better quarterback, period. Let me know what you think. Comment down below. Please don't forget to subscribe. And like always, see you in the next one.